So you took a break from your business, whether that be some life circumstance happened, whether it had something to do with your health, or whether you just wanted to take a break from business and online. And now that you're ready to actually start getting more clients and make that money again, it just feels so much heavier. And the simple tasks that used to feel easy and even automatic for you now feels very overwhelming. So whenever you try to map content out, when you want to launch a new offer, and when you're doing any tech stuff, your brain just feels foggy and you just feel very achy everywhere. And it's very, very irritating and frustrating. So that inner dialogue in your mind goes, oh my God, I used to be able to do so much more. Why is this so freaking slow? And then you start feeling guilty for resting because, you've taken a break already, right? And you feel ashamed because you've lost all the momentum that you had before. And deep down, you're also scared to try again because it's taking so much work. And what if it doesn't work still? First of all, this is very, very common among many business owners. And so I am here to talk about the three reasons why this happens to you, because these are the three most common reasons why my clients feel the exact same thing, especially when they show up before we start working together. And so the first reason why is that a lot of my clients come to me because they've burnt out in the past. They have developed some health issues, they needed to slow down in their business, and then they want to get back in it. And when they get back in it, what they do is that they set their expectations post that burnout phase based on how they used to perform before they burnt out, like during their prime. And so a lot of the times they expect themselves to just jump straight back in, doing the same thing, making the same amount of money, and having clients come to them the exact same way as before, as if nothing happened. But in reality, their nervous system, their full body, their mind and body has changed. And it has gone through a major stressful, and for some of them, even a traumatic event. And so when that happens, the nervous system is still in protection mode. A lot of the times it's still stuck in survival. So it's not going to prioritize peak performance. The nervous system has a hierarchy, and the first thing that it does is always prioritize survival. And so if they're still stuck in the survival phase, expecting themselves to be this Olympic business athlete, it doesn't make any sense. And they've already set themselves up to fail. And so what the first thing that we do is I am very honest with my clients, and we set real expectations with regards to how they are currently functioning so that they stop judging themselves for not being where they used to be. I teach them what the survival patterns are and the hierarchy of the nervous system. And this really creates a lot of regulation in their bodies because it really hasn't been explained to them in the way that I have before. And when they see it from a physiological perspective of the survival mechanisms and the different hierarchy of the nervous system, they start understanding how their body works. And instead of feeling guilty recovering and taking breaks, they actually start taking it. And instead of getting overwhelmed, they actually start doing the tasks, and it gets simpler and simpler, which is then going to help them to speed up in their business faster than they would have if their expectations were still pre-burnout. The second reason is they go back to business and they have this new strategy, and they don't really change the internal operating system that they have before they burnt out. So they pile on and do new systems, new sales page, new this, new that, better systems, better tools, which are very, very important because automation will help all of our lives become easier. And I 100% always suggest having really good systems, and it's really useful. But they ignore the very thing that actually caused the burnout to begin with. So they still have the same survival patterns that came in the first place, when they override their bodily cues, they people please their way into some of the sales. They never really fully switch off at the end of the day. They take in more responsibility instead of delegating it. And so those old patterns are still running in the background. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter how good their systems are. If their nervous system still expects having more money and more responsibility as threatening, then it's not really going to stop them from burnout, because their body will shut them down faster than they did before, because it has learned that, I'm the nervous system. I'm not getting my needs again. Oh, this shit again. So I help them see that perspective from the nervous system, because then it stops being sabotage and it starts being something that actually supports their long-term health and health of their company. And the third reason is that physiologically, they are very deconditioned and weak. And then they expect themselves to perform like an athlete after an injury. So when you actually burn out and physiologically have health problems after business, your stress tolerance is going to be lower. The energy reserves you have are going to be very, very tiny, and it will take you a long time to recover from things that used to only take you, hours or even a day or a good sleep, just because of the massive changes within your system. And so when you come back to work, you're working from from a place where you're back at the beginning physiologically. So it does make sense that things are harder. And this is not a bad thing. This is unfortunately just the thing that happens, right? And even though your mind is eager, even though you believe that you can get there, gradually increasing it. So just like if an athlete were to have surgery and they have their recovery period and they've been cleared by their physician to start playing again, once they get back into the court or the field or the gym or wherever their sport is, them trying to do the things they used to do before is insanely stupid. It is the same thing for us in business. Trying to get that same momentum back is really a big slap to our nervous system. Instead, what athletes do is they rehab, right? They build it back again. They progressively overload, of course, with the goal of getting back to where they were and even better. But when they expect to be able to do things immediately, even after a week or a month, then it becomes a constant shock to the system. And at that time, the system is still stressed. So it'll just overwhelm it and it just will not work. It will fight back. And this is the same thing that business owners do. If you come in and expecting that you are going to be able to handle the amount of emails, the amount of clients that you did before, you don't have the physical capacity yet, because it's been deconditioned from the time that you were off. It's like putting on 50 kilos of squats because that's what you used to do, but you haven't gone to the gym for like 3 months, and then expecting to go back to that weight is expecting another injury, right? It's the same thing. You need a strategic approach to go back to work so that you actually set yourself up for success and not burn out again a month into it. And so these are the things that they have done in their business and for themselves that makes it harder than necessary to come back. When they come to me and they want to come back, they've had time off, or they just got really frustrated and they're ready to come back, I never force them to start expecting and doing the things that they did before their break. But what we do is really help their body to regulate and have systems in place for their health so that they stop overriding their body cues. They have realistic expectations, are always meeting where they're at, because that is what's going to help actually prevent burnout from continuing to happen over and over again. So if you're someone who has coming back to business after a time off and it's impossibly hard, it really has nothing to do with your skills, or the market or the algorithm. It's because your body and your nervous system is doing its job very well and what it's supposed to. And the clients I have, and if you also want to make it back safely out of burnout for good, and then you must train your nervous system and expand your capacity so that you don't use the exact same behaviors and patterns that got you to the burnout to begin with. And instead of crashing and burning every time you make more, you are going to sustain that growth. And maybe you won't make money as fast as you did before, but you can sleep at night knowing that you are going to wake up tomorrow and you are going to do the work instead of dread the day. So, if you want to stop repeating the burnout cycle and rebuild a business that you can actually handle, then check out the links in the comments and I'll show you where to start so that when you go back, it doesn't mean that you're going to wreck your health as well.